Hi everyone, it's Sonia here. So I wanted to give you a little update. So first of all, I want to give you some news. I'm going to talk about a bit of the stuff that's going on in Canada, but I'm going to just give you a few personal updates first. That's what I'm going to do here. So first of all, I wanted to tell you, those of you who'd been watching my videos with Aaron, especially the videos that I did when we went to Quebec City, and you know that he's been having a lot of problems. He's been having a lot of pain, especially with his leg, right? And we didn't know what it was. Well, this has been going on for like a year. He's just been in agony. It's just like all day, it's all night. It's just been really bad. Well, the other day he was on the bed and he didn't have his pants on. And I looked at the back of his knee and I saw there was this big bump there. Now, I had kind of noticed it once before, but I thought, well, I don't know, he's paralyzed. Maybe his knees just look weird, you know? But I took another look at it and I started kind of feeling it. And I was like, I think there's something in your leg. Like there's something behind your knee. And it just so happens I had read about this thing called a popliteal cyst or a Baker cyst. And then all of a sudden I was like, I think you have a cyst in your leg, So I called the doctor and I got an appointment really quickly. He went to see the doctor yesterday and that's what it is. He has a cyst in his knee. Like, mystery solved. Actually, I feel hopeful now because it's been horrible for such a long time and nothing was working. And now we actually finally have an answer. So what the doctor's going to do is send him for referral for an ultrasound. So that they need to do like a special ultrasound and then they have to drain this thing like with the ultrasound guiding it. Anyway, thank you for your prayers, because if you prayed for like us to get some answers, we finally did. It's so weird though, because we had been to the doctor about this before and they were just kind of like, oh, it's just because you're paralyzed. You need to do some stretches or whatever, But now we have an answer. So I'll let you know how that goes, but it's looking up, So I want to tell you about what I've been doing because I've been busy. I've been really busy for the last few weeks. I kind of have a new personal project. So I'm going to tell you about it. And also today in Montreal, there was a freedom rally. There was a big march. I saw it on Facebook and I clicked interested, but in the end I didn't go. I would have liked to go and get some footage and report to you guys what's been going on. But what you don't know is that I actually did that for like at least 2 other protests recently. I went to one that was in Old Montreal, I guess in September. And it rained. It rained and it was cold. And I was there with Gunnar and I stayed for the whole thing. I froze. I was like wet and soggy and frozen. And I took a lot of footage. And I only ended up using a tiny little bit of footage later in the video that I did where the resistors had a like pass-free event at night. The one, it was like an outdoor party with bad music. I inserted a little clip of Mireille Rose, local activist, giving her speech, but I didn't use the rest of it. People are getting up there and they're talking about our freedom and talking about, resisting this. I mean, we're being ruled by decree. Our charter, our democracy, like it's completely out the window. It's been almost 2 years and there needs to be some action. I mean, it's never going to change by people walking around the street. So these protests that have been happening in Montreal, they served a few purposes. One was solidarity for the people that were participating, and B was raising awareness. But did it ever lead anywhere? As I'm watching this unfold, I've noticed that the only thing that has challenged the government's grab of authority were the court cases. And even there, the court case that the healthcare syndicat union, they brought this case before the court concerning whether the decree for the mandatory vaccinations of the healthcare workers was even legal. And the judge ruled that it was legal. He didn't rule that it was a good move or it was a bad move. He said it wasn't up to him to make the call, but he could verify that it was in fact legal, which it is. It is legal because of our Public Health Act. The government can do these kinds of things if we're under an emergency situation. Like if they declare a public health emergency, it does give them those powers. They have actually so much power under that they literally would legally be able to physically forcibly vaccinate a part or the entire population. That's how much power it gives them. So whatever they do under that authority, apparently in Quebec, it's legal. But the issue really is the fact that they have retained that authority by retaining the state of emergency for, well, more than a year and a half now, 20 months, I think. They've been doing that for so long that now, sorry about my son making noise, that now people are saying that this is not what this was meant to, how this was meant to be used. It was meant to be for a 10-day period, which could then be renewed, or a 30-day period with the approval of, I think, the National Assembly. But they had just suspended the National Assembly's involvement, and they've been renewing it every 10 days for 20 months. So now it's not just the protesters who are saying it's an abuse of power. It's some of the unions and even the opposition parties in our government. And I really think at this point that walking around the street, it's nice to see people. You're going to have some exercise, but that is not where this battle to get our democracy back is going to be won. I think it'll have to be in the courts. So, I mean, I could have gone and basically, you would have seen some people walking around with signs like they have in the past, but nothing more happens around here. I've seen some footage from Europe where things got very heated. There were many, many people. I just saw some footage today from France where, they were pulling things down and blocking traffic, and like it gets physical. It becomes more like a riot. This isn't happening at all here. The protests that we have are very civil. It's just people walking around and maybe giving a few speeches. But, I'm just going to report on that. I wasn't there, but I would assume that that's how it went, because that's how it's been this whole time. And I am much more interested in following what the opposition parties are doing, what the legal system is doing, what the unions are doing, because there is resistance, and it's not about anti-vaxxers. I mean, we got I think it's almost 90% of the population here has had a vaccine. So, where are all these resistors coming from, right? I think it's only 600,000 people at this point, adults or people over 12, who haven't had even one dose. 8.5 million population, and I think is just a bit over 500,000 who haven't even had one dose. I think that with that and the ones who had only one dose is 1 million. But I mean, it's a really small minority. Most people, the government found their Achilles heel one way or another, and they went ahead and did it. I mean, I know a lot of them didn't want to, but I mean, and I'm saying that from my experience with people that I know, that they didn't say, oh yes, I really want it because I'm worried. They were like, well, I need to travel, or I want to go to this or that. I want to do something, I can't live like this. But even I have many friends who are double vaccinated and who are still not okay with what our government is doing in terms of how they've seized the power. So there are many people besides the unvaccinated who are not okay. I mean, this is affecting everyone. It's not just affecting people who haven't had their 2 shots, right? So that's why I'm following that more than, the protests. But I mean, I do occasionally go, but then, like I said, I didn't take the time to sort the footage and share it with you. So, I wanted to tell you a bit about my personal project that I've been working on, totally unrelated to like the pandemic, I think, or unrelated to any of the stuff I just talked about. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but like even in my videos, you can see there's a lot of stuff like, in my room. There's, it's a little cluttered, and it's like that in the whole apartment. I mean, the apartment is small, so it's very easy to clutter it. I mean, if you bring one thing in, you better get rid of something you had because there's just no space here. So what happened was, when my mom had to move to the retirement home, I ended up with some of her stuff. And then when she moved the second time, I ended up with some of the furniture, which was fine. I really needed the furniture anyway, so that was great. But then again, she moved again, and I ended up with more of her stuff. And, some of them are nice things that I want to keep, and some of them were her things. And anyway, like add that to what I already had, and it's like my place is more cluttered. So what I've been doing is working on decluttering. I've had friends come in and tell me, just throw away all your stuff. And I've always been a reduce, reuse, recycle person, like way before anybody was talking about it. I was recycling back in the 90s, upcycling, recycling, reusing. I've always been like that. I don't like if I have something that someone else can use that I would just go put it in the garbage. Because we do produce a lot of trash. So I just think it's wasteful, So what I did was I have been doing this for a while, endeavored to catalog these things. I made a light box. I got myself a ring light. I've been taking pictures of all these items that I have, and I've been trying to sell them online. What's really cool about that and why I've been putting my time into it is because it's a really nice change for me. I'm the kind of person that I always need to have a project. I can't just like be doing whatever, nothing, same thing, going in circles all the time. So it's not like I'm making a whole lot of money off it or anything, but it's been super useful for me, like mental health wise. It's giving me a goal, a project, something that I can work on. And actually I feel really excited about it. Like I have all this jewelry, right? I have lots of rings, but you might notice I always wear the same thing because I just like this one, but I have like tons of, stones and things that I just don't use. I'm not just going to throw them away. I'm not going to give them to someone else who can sell them. They don't take up that much space, but I'm going to sell them online myself. And that brings in a little extra income too, which we can definitely use. So I got a couple friends of mine to model some of this jewelry. Actually, I got Lara to do it. She looks so good because I didn't want to do it myself. I needed a better model. She's got this great red hair. She looks really great. So I spent like 4 hours the other day photographing Lara in all this jewelry. And some of it was my mom's too that I inherited, but I'm just never going to wear it. It's like chunky coral necklaces and stuff like that. And I have it sitting around, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? Like keep it sitting around forever? I'm not going to give it away. It's valuable. I'm going to sell it. How am I going to do it? I need to take good pictures of the jewelry. I need to like get a model, and then I'll work on it. So I've been doing that, and it's fun. Like, I sell a couple things a week, and it's just a good project for me. I needed a break, when I do the YouTube videos, I'm talking a lot about the pandemic, and I mean, yeah, like I'm interested. I read a lot of news. I like to share it with you, but sometimes I just need like personal projects, So that's what I've been doing. It's been fun. Today I sold a pair of boots for very cheap. And the girl who came over, she was so beautiful and so stylish. She was gorgeous. She had like blonde hair, like all wavy, and she had a mask, and it had like all these little beads on it. It looked very like Cleopatra style, and she bought the boots, and it went really well. And then a couple came over and bought the remote control truck, and they said that they were buying toys to send to their relatives in the Philippines. So it's interesting, it's fun. I meet people, and I feel like the stuff is going to the right person. It's going to somebody who wants it and needs it. They don't have to go through an intermediary, like a company that is actually going to make a big profit. So I've been doing that. I took my son out to a farm, which was cool. It was my friend Fred from high school. We went to see his farm. We went to see all the fuzzy little cows and the little ponies he had. I needed to get out, and so did Gunner. So we went out to Laval to the farm. And when I'm at home, he just makes a ton of noise on the PlayStation. So it's not conducive to me making videos unless they're kind of disorganized and rambly. The other day I made the video as Aunt Flo because I know you guys like to see Flo. But also, honestly, like I sat down and I felt like really blah. But then when I put the Flo get up on, for some reason I get funny. I come up with like funny things. So I thought, okay, whatever. Because I can't just sit here and talk about bad news, or even like possibly it was good news, but it wasn't fun. So Flo makes it a little more fun. I hope you like that. So yeah, I've been having fun doing that. And if you're looking for supplies to prepare also for disaster, please check out the link below for my Patriot Supply. You get a box, lasts 25 years, and it's got 4 weeks worth of MREs. And, at least it's portable. It is. So, yeah, I'll leave you the link below. You get a discount if you use the link. So that's it. I just wanted to give you guys an update, and I hope you're all doing well. Nice to see you in the chat. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time. The Truth